Welcome back everyone to Redstoning with Steve, and first of all, apologies for the lateness of this episode. I was just rearranging my room, and in fact now I've kind of got it set up so I have to have my microphone on my left side. Usually it's a boom coming from my right, now it's coming from my left. I hope that doesn't affect the sound too much, but it shouldn't. Before we get started, make sure you get your suggestions in, guys. Ran out of suggestions, so I had to think of my own things. It's terrible. I much prefer your suggestions, guys, because you guys think of a lot better things than I do. But this episode I've kind of been wanting to do for a little while, and basically it's about compact circuits. Which is my first example there. It's about getting your circuit compact, and I did leave this till season 2. I could have done it season 1. I chose to do it season 2 because it is a lot more advanced stuff, and it's because it's always the last thing you do when you're doing circuits, and I'll explain that in the episode. So we have the first setup here, and I've just kind of quickly whipped this up, and yeah, it's based on an iron golem farm design by Lorraine on the server. And I was helping him out a bit with the redstone, and I just thought it was a good example to use for this sort of situation. Basically, we're activating it from here, and just an iron store. So it's not too difficult, you know. If you have a basic understanding of redstone, you can pretty much wire this. It's not the hardest thing in the world. Just need enough of it. So how would you go about doing this? I know, if I was a beginner, I reckon I'd probably more try and do something like this. If I was a beginner, if I was an absolute beginner, I'd go, run the redstone into the piston. Okay. If I was slightly more, I'd go, alright, I can do this, and I can run 3 repeaters into here, and it'll power all the pistons. If they're slightly more advanced people, they would realize they can run a repeater into the bottom block, and that saves a bit of redstone. It does save a bit of redstone because you're running it into the bottom rather than up there, or you can run it into the block next to it as such. So they'll realize that, and the way more advanced people would realize, instead of running a wire around here, you can just take the power from this block and use it to power the next piston. And this sort of thing is kind of the stuff we'll be more focusing on. And this is the really high advanced stuff. Well, I guess not really high advanced, but sort of the thing that it'll really improve your redstone. It'll make people have a look at this. It's really outstanding if you can just figure out something like that. It's so simple. But if you can use this in your builds, it will improve your redstone builds drastically. 100%. And I've got a blank setup here because I'm going to show you a few tricks. And for a start, I don't like the way these pistons are set up. I'd probably group them, at least one of them with a 2. Probably this one. But for the experiment's sake, I'll just leave it as the same setup. Just for experiment's sake, I guess. So I'm powering from the same spot as well, by the way, which is the corner of the glass. So what I would do, I would probably do this. First I would have this. We're powering this, but we can also take the signal out to here. That's what I'd be doing first. Then I'd try to be finding a way to power these 3 pistons. And I'd probably be doing something trying to do something a little more fancy than I usually do. That won't work out anyway. So if I do that, that'll power that piston. That won't power that piston in the middle though. So I really want a dot there. I'll go back to what I was doing before. Wow, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this, guys. Oh, I broke piston. That's right. fact, I know what I'd do. I'd run it from here. Able to run it there. So that actually powers, because this redstone is pointing into this piston, it powers it, but it still allows it to pass through to power this one. That'll probably just take it out of there. And actually, I probably have to do that. So I could take it out. The triple piston's a little hard actually. I'm just trying to think of a really decent way to do this without it looking like an idiot. That works. And one thing I'm trying to do is keep it all in one line. So this does take a little while, and sometimes you can be stuck here for a little while trying to figure this out. But eventually I should be able to come up with a decent solution. What I'll do, I've got it. I'll run this because this will power this, and run it up there. But because this is still pointing into that, it'll power it. And then yeah, that's something like I was trying to do. I was trying to do that before. So that should power all of them. Should. Remember, I'm being a bit fancy, and I'll try to do something different with this one. What I'll do is I'll do that. Oh, didn't mean that. I'll do that. And then I guess I'll just do the same thing. And they should all work. I think. Theoretically, yep, they all work. Beautiful. Oh, one didn't retract. That one's working. Interesting. I must be treating it as a dot of redstone, so you got to go the one extra. Huh, well, you learn something new every day. So that all works. And you can see, one, it takes up less space, and two, it uses up way less redstone. I've literally kept it in that square of pistons, which is the actual minimum square you can keep it. In fact, I ran this. I could probably just run this here underneath this. And in fact, if you give us a sec, I'd have to change the redstone up a bit, so I just keep looking up. That'll be fun. So yeah, you can see I kept it pretty much within the square of pistons. I could have done this bit a bit better, but I'm not too fussed about that. But you can kind of see the thing I'm getting at. Like, I'm using power from the one before to power the next one, to power the next one, to power the next one. Making use of the repeaters being able to power other blocks and being able to power underneath them like this. And a lot of these things are really, really vital. Instead of just doing something like this, this is really kind of uninspired. Unless you really want them all the same delay. And even so, there are better ways to do this with all the same delay than something like this, which achieves the same result with far less redstone as well. So it saves space, it saves redstone, and it just looks a lot nicer in the end. So I guess I'll try and come up with another example. Just to get this one out of the way early, when people build monostable circuits, I never got this design. 33 repeaters. Alright, we're all the way up there. Why don't people just build them like this? Just more space efficient. There we go. And the trick is just to go forward, 1, 2, back, and then just weave your way around. And the thing is, you can do this, and remember, if you place a repeater next to redstone, there's no effect. So you can go out one, then the next one you bring in, and then if you came back, say along here, the next one you could go out like this. So as many repeaters as you need, you can just go in, out, and you can weave literally infinitely. So just more of a tip more than anything if you're going to put them on a stable circuit, I guess. And remember, with compact circuits, it's just not limited to the repeater with powering other blocks. You can have, we just need to turn this torch off. You can have this that winds around. You need a cutting block. It's a little ugly. It's very uncompact. Oops. It's too wide. There's wire everywhere. Or you can just do something like this. 2 redstone wire. All you have to do is retract the piston and then follow the torch tower up. Actually quite fast as well, not too much delay. Uses the same amount of redstone and just is a lot more useful in general. Now we're going to revisit an old classic, the Jeb door, and I bet you would have never thought of using bud switches as part of being compact before. If you remember from our thing on bud switches, I'll break out these blocks. If we power this block, it'll power this piston, of course, when it's under here, so in that position. It's going to be pushed to that position by these pistons. It's going to power this piston, of course, and through the quasi-connectivity bug, it's going to power this piston. But we need an update, and the update's going to come from the top piston, and vice versa when it retracts. So, bet you never thought of doing that. And additionally, to power these 4 pistons, we only need 2 pieces of redstone, because this is powering this, and this already, and this is just powering this. You can actually power 3 pistons with 1 redstone here. What we need to do is point it into there, and look, we have all 4 pistons firing, and exactly the same delay as well, which is very, very useful. Additionally, you can also do it like this. It has the same effect. So I guess all we have to do is just wire this thing up. And this is the not compact bit. I'm not going to bother with this, because I just kind of want to prove a point. And I'll put these on the max delay, and hopefully this should work. Yep. Look at that, beautiful. We aren't even powering this piston, we're just doing it from all above. There's no wiring under the floor, which is excellent news. And you can power it through this here, and actually it'd probably be more compact just to take this around the back and power it from there, but I'm not too fussed about that. But it's cool that this works very well, and actually they fire with the same delay, which is awesome. I thought that this would be a bit slower. You can see when it's retracting it's slower, but that's alright. So that is an extremely compact Jeb door, and yeah, bet you never thought of doing it like that, guys. And for the very last example for this episode, I'm going to use one of my own builds, and that's because it actually shows a pretty good example of kind of compact wiring. This is my tileable double extender, and if you have a look at it, it's pretty bare bones. So we'll turn it on, and basically we're powering this piston through using the torch to the repeater. We're powering the bottom piston and this piston. Remember, you can use the redstone torch to power this block and this piston, so we're powering both these pistons through this torch. This torch is also powering this, so it's powering 3 pistons in total from this torch, which is a very good thing for compact wiring. It's going down here to this redstone torch, carrying it up, unpowering this, which is powering this. And this one actually provides the extra little pulse at the end, if I can remember correctly. Let me see that. Yeah, it does. So it provides a little extra pulse when this gets retracted back. And the other thing I'm doing is when I'm extending this, it's going over this redstone torch and actually powering that. So I'm not using any redstone wire. The only input is coming from a piston and a redstone torch. So that's extremely good example of compact wiring. Mind you, there are better versions of the double extender than this, guys. Don't get your hopes up for this, but yeah, just thought I'd show you that. Okay, I must admit I lied a little bit, guys. I do have one more thing to show you, and it's just this thing, and it is the quasi connectivity one with the bud. You power it normally, nothing happens, but when you put the fence gate in, you can suddenly power it, a regular piston 2 blocks below where you want it to be. It also works with redstone lamps, so pretty much anything that updates on a redstone update. Trapdoors will work as well, exactly the same. They also, if you do this and put the redstone gate there, exactly the same result. So that's another little compact thing for you guys, but only for pistons obviously. But yeah, I hope you learned a bit from this episode, guys. And I must say, with the compact thing, mostly I set out my redstone first. I usually just plan it with redstone dust, and then I go back. Like this thing, I would have just put out redstone dust usually, and then thought, okay, I could put a repeater in here. That'll make it more compact, and that'll make it more compact and more compact and more, and just keep compacting until I can compact it no further. And that's how I usually do most of my redstone builds. And I can tell you, a lot of the really good guys at redstone, your cube hamsters, your sethlings, your ethos, all those guys, most of those guys probably don't plan it compact. They plan it, I want to do this with it, so they plan it with dust, and then they go through, make it compact, and make it look really zazzy, and really, really nice for the viewers. But I hope you learned something. I hope you take something away from this. I'm sorry I couldn't show you more, but I'm pretty sure that's all I have to show you with way of this. The rest is just kind of figuring it out for yourself. One thing I will say before I go, a lot of people have been asking me about the redstone update, and I will talk about it more in an LP episode, I think, but I can tell you I'm 50-50 on it. May explain that in an LP episode, but that's your answer for now, guys. This has been Redstoning with Steve. I'll catch you next time.